Hello, people out there on the internet, whoever you are. It is Saturday, 1 o'clock Pacific time, last Saturday of the month, when I have been doing concerts from my living room pretty much on the last Saturday of every month at 1 o'clock. I may continue with this tradition, but I'm not sure. As things start picking up more in the real world, as we used to call it. But I thought I'd at least, come on today. And if people are wildly enthusiastic about me continuing these last Saturday online concerts, then I will. Otherwise, I don't know. But I said I'd be here, so I'm here. And I wanted to also mention to any of you who are in Portland or know somebody in Portland that I will be doing a concert in what we may still call the real world, IRL, which is also known as Ireland on the license plates there, but here we mean in the real world, on Monday, Memorial Day, at Kelly Butte in Portland, which is just east of I-205. If you take 103rd Avenue down, heading south from Division, just east of 205, till it ends, then hike up the road, and you're at the top of Kelly Butte, which used to be a prison where they split rocks and paved the city of Portland for largely much of the first half of the 20th century. And we'll be doing a little live concert, picnic, music for kids, and adults, and discussion about splitting rocks and seizing land that was stolen. So I know, some of you who know me well or have known me for a while, or I don't know, whoever is out there, but many of us are mutual friends with Aziz Chowdhury, and Aziz, a professor at McGill University, who was teaching as a visiting professor in Johannesburg, and he was just found dead in his apartment 3 days ago. And I'll be telling you more about that later. I mean, not here in this concert, but and hopefully we'll be getting a lot more information about that. But it's horrible. And here's a song that's got other people dying in it, huh? I heard them marching, chanting, kill them all. I saw millions of people trapped behind ghetto walls. I saw the soldiers shooting every Friday afternoon. I saw some exposed to sickness with others made immune. I saw the tear gas in Al-Aqsa, eyes open wide. I saw the mob attack the motorist and beat him till he died. I heard the generals lying, I saw the tanks moving in. I heard the settlers shouting, let the killings begin. Look up above, hear the ear-splitting sound. Watch the buildings crumble to the ground. See the planes in the sky there by the sea, so much like New York City. I heard the wailing voices of the dying and forlorn, of the kids who couldn't get out and those who weren't warned. I saw all the schools and hospitals in pieces there still from the last time the IDF came to maim and kill. I saw the brave children with piles of rocks facing tanks demolishing city blocks. What's left of the grove but some sap as they try to wipe Palestine off the map. Look up above, hear the ear-splitting sound. Watch the buildings crumble to the ground. See the planes in the sky there by the sea, so much like New York City. I heard the DNC and all the Republicans too pledge allegiance to Netanyahu. I heard the president starting the story with rockets launched from a ghetto where people live in rubble, starved by an embargo. I saw a whole lot of crocodile tears on display for the zillionth time. I heard politicians say, can both sides please de-escalate? On one side are the occupied, on the other an apartheid state. Ah, look above, hear the ear-splitting sound. Watch the buildings crumble to the ground. See the planes in the sky there by the sea, so much like New York City. I heard them marching, chanting, kill them all. I saw millions of people trapped behind ghetto walls. That's the world we're in, and that's the latest song I wrote. Is it? And yeah, maybe. But I wrote this one too. Let's see. Should have practiced it though. How does it go? I don't know. I didn't. I've been writing about Aziz, and I'll be publishing that soon, very soon. But it was 1 o'clock here, and time to get online and do a concert for whoever wants that sort of thing. And we all need to take care of each other. And it's always the sort of thing people say in situations like this. On Monday at Kelly Butte, I'll be doing songs for kids. And I'll try to keep them separated from the songs where everybody dies at the end, you know? We'll just judge the crowd, depending on the situation. But I promise not to traumatize the small ones as much as I can avoid it. This is one of my kids' songs. I went to play at the playground to do things I like so much. Run with my friends, play make-believe, swing on the swings and such. But this morning I went to the playground and bullies were guarding the swings. They knocked over the slide, dumped out the sandbox, took away all of our things. This playground is run by bullies, and they're all so big and mean. But this playground was made for all of us, and we're gonna change this scene. Well, all of us were scared of the bullies. They were so big and we were so small. Till somebody said if we organized, we could be 10 feet tall. We stood on each other's shoulders, put blankets over our heads. We looked like monsters and we roared like lions, and those bullies ran home and hid under their beds. This playground was run by bullies, and they're all so big and mean. But this playground was made for all of us, and we're gonna change this scene. Well, we got that playground back, but then we looked across the street, saw the sewage plant belching out smoke, poisoning the ground under our feet. It's giving us all asthma, and the hour is getting late. So we marched across the way, and we blocked that factory gate. 'Cause this world is run by bullies, and they're all so big and mean. But this world was made for all of us, and we're gonna change this scene. This world is run by bullies, and they're all so big and mean. But this world was made for all of us, and we're gonna change this scene. Let's get them bullies. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, if anybody has a song you want to hear, let's see. I could do that. Otherwise, I'll just be poking through this selection of songs, looking for something I should do in alphabetical order, which is not a very good approach. But once again, doing things other than preparing. Oh, here we go. This is the association with Dennis O'Neil saying, "Let's go get them bullies," and me thinking of New York City. But it's a perfectly good reason to do this song. Oh, Beecher's Bibles. Got it. I'll do that. You got it. Let's see if I can remember that one. I'll do this one. Then I'll do that. How's that go? To all the Jared Kushners of the world, and all the money that you own, you who look at us with such indifference, sitting upon your throne, from which you collect all the rent from your subjects in all the most gentrified towns, regardless of whether a global pandemic have forced us to shut everything down. To all the Jared Kushners of the world, for whom the ceiling is the sky, for you life comes so easy, inherited from birth. Why would you ever ask why? Do you think you earned it all? It's up to you how much you charge. It's all yours to keep. Would you climb any mountain of corpses, no matter how slippery, no matter how steep? To all the Jared Kushners of the world, is your appetite ever met? At what point do you ever wonder just how fucked you can make things get? Before it's bad enough that even you and your investors can see the whole thing's gonna fall. Just how top heavy can an icon be before it can't stand up at all? To all the Jared Kushners of the world, how do you expect things will transpire when all your filings are enforced and the moratorium expires? You envision a neat row of U-Haul trucks, tenants all packed up to leave their homes, your businesses, their neighborhoods, their cemeteries where they used to go to grieve. To all the Jared Kushners of the world and all your ill-begotten gains, you who sit comfortably in your limousine, ignoring all the bloodstains. Have you seen this movie before? Was it good? What's your favorite scene? Mine's when they take off the blindfold and the king meets his guillotine. To all the Jared Kushners of the world, oh, good. We got lots of good suggestions. And let's see. We'll try to do that one that Dennis and several other people have mentioned. Let's see here. Alphabetical order. Here. You got it. Mina and Dave, 50th anniversary. We got a song, of course, for you. Okay, I haven't done this song in a long time. Let's see if I remember it. Owen Brown was an abolitionist. John was Owen's son. He grew up in New England. He was born. No, I can do better than that. He was born in Torrington. Wait. He was born in Torrington. Oh my goodness. I'm just totally failing on this. I really should. No, I'm gonna have to practice that. Sorry, guys. Get your money back. Let's see. But Mina and Dave, 50th wedding anniversary. When the world has gone crazy, and it's all becoming clear, when they're gunning down our comrades, and it seems the end is near. As they're loading up the launchers for the tear gas grenades, we can take off our bandanas and kiss behind the barricades. When it's madness all around, you can see this at a glance. We will sing and we will cry, we will laugh and we will dance. As they shout their marching orders beneath the helicopter blades, we shall seize the moment for a kiss behind the barricades. They will try to break our spirit, and at times they may succeed, but our love for the world is stronger than their greed. When the building is surrounded and hope begins to fade, in my final hour, a kiss behind the barricades. As the movement grows, there will be hills and bends, but at the center of the struggle are your lovers and your friends. And the more we hold each other up, the less we can be swayed. Here's to love and solidarity and a kiss behind the barricades. That's for Mina and Dave's 50th wedding anniversary. And what other songs can I royally mess up? I mean, at least that one I remembered. But I've also done it so often, it would be so sad if I forgot it. And somebody's in the apartment, and it's not me, and I assume it's my family, but this would be such a good time for somebody to break in, you know, while I'm doing this concert. With behind this curtain, as long as they're really quiet about it. They could steal everything other than the laptop and the guitar. Which isn't much. That's not true. There's a cello. I won't say where it is, in case, you know, don't want to make it too easy. I got a new album out. It's on Bandcamp, and it's called It's Been a Year. And I am not singing on it at all or playing any instrument because it's all the band Virtual Bird that is doing everything. But I wrote all the lyrics. And you can listen to it for free on Bandcamp. And this is the title track, my solo acoustic version of it. But, you know, the punk rock version on the album is really cool. Since the virus arrived, a year since in this country 500,000 died, a year since all the borders were starting to be sealed, a year since the hospitals were sprouting in the fields. No question for anyone living around here, it's been a year. It's been a year since the cafes all closed, since the dates on the calendars froze, as the windows turned to plywood and the plywood turned to art. And unless you were essential or worked in a food cart, then you just had to cope with the anxiety and fear. It's been a year. It's been a year since the wheels in motion led to an uprising on each side of the ocean, exposed by the pandemic, by inequality, the 929 of the neck beneath the knee. A time of counter demos, for a while a coup seemed near. It's been a year. It's been a year since canceling the rent. A year since the last of the money was spent, since so many saw we're all vectors for disease and there is such a thing as society. Since the words mutual aid became ones you'll commonly hear, along with grim milestone, it's been a year. It's been a year. It's been a year. Let's see. What was I thinking? Probably not much. Mutual aid and grim milestone. Yeah, those are the two terms from the year. It's weird because a lot of the songs I've been writing lately I don't actually know, because I've been doing them with Virtual Bird. But let's see. We definitely have song requests that I can do. I know that one. There's only 2 chords, so okay, here we go. I'll do song about events that are hopefully going to become even more relevant as the Ponzi scheme housing market collapses and people are looking for other alternatives that allow people to survive. We should all read up on the rent strike wars in upstate New York. In the 1840s. The patroons came from Holland to America, became landlords where none had been before. Soon one man owned 500,000 acres on both sides of the Hudson River shore. He invited families to move in and give him 30% of everything they grew every year. This is how they pay the rent. His name was Van Rensselaer. He became one of the richest men on earth. In today's terms, $90 billion is how much he'd be worth. All this for doing nothing but saying all of this was his. I have the power of the state behind me, and I'm in the landlord biz. After 200 years of this and one revolution, another Van Rensselaer had another son, and this Rensselaer was greedier than his ancestors, dead and past. It was the 1840s, and things were changing fast. It was the straw that broke the back. The bottle was uncorked. They started organizing meetings, the tenant farmers of New York. They found the strength of numbers. They found the power of suggestion. They found each other asking the same question. Who gave you the right to be a landlord? Live a life of ease while others toil? Who gave you the right to be a rich man while the rest of us pay you so we can work this soil? They vowed they would stop the rent collection. They vowed they'd bring this madness to an end. And when one blew the tin horn of distress, they soon found they had 1,000 friends, dressed in calico skirts, with masks upon their faces, on horseback, armed with knives and guns. They chanted and they yelled, they kept their farms, and they kept the sheriffs on the run. They asked, who gave you the right to be a landlord? To live a life of ease while others toil? Who gave you the right to be a rich man while the rest of us pay you so we can work this soil? The governor's militias tried to stop them, but nothing could be done to break their will. And by 1848 the landlords buckled, sold their holdings to the farmers in the hills. Yes, they overthrew this feudal system, but it's replaced now by speculators and banks. And you can still hear the homeless families asking of all the landed gentry in our ranks, who gave you the right to be a landlord? To live a life of ease while others toil? Who gave you the right to be a rich man while the rest of us pay you so we can work this soil? Who gave you the right? So looking at my comments here. Ponzi coin, yes, Ponzi coin. We're gonna have a new currency called Ponzi coin. But that'll be the only currency that people will be able to afford to buy housing with. After all the other currencies are rendered, ineffective because of the Ponzi scheme. Well, somebody's watching from Belarus and somebody else is claiming to be watching from the DPRK. And whoever is watching from the DPRK may really be doing so. I wonder. Of course they're using a VPN, but wherever you're watching from, I'm very happy you're here. And this is for my friend in Belarus. My name is John Riley. I'll have your ear only a while. I left my dear home in Ireland. It was death, starvation, or exile. When I got to America, it was my duty to go, enter the army and slog across Texas to join in the war against Mexico. And it was there in the pueblos and hillsides that I saw the mistake I had made. Part of a conquering army with the morals of a bayonet blade. So in the midst of these poor dying Catholics, screaming children, the burning stench of it all, myself and 200 Irishmen decided to rise to the call. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied. So we formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. We marched neath the green flag of St. Patrick, emblazoned with Erin go Bragh, right with the harp and the shamrock, and Libertad para Republica. Just 50 years after Wolfe Tone, 5,000 miles away, the Yanks called us a legion of strangers, and they can talk as they may, but from Dublin City to San Diego. We witnessed freedom denied, so we formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. Fought them in 5 major battles. Churubusco was the last. Overwhelmed by the cannons from Boston, we fell after each mortar blast. Most of us died on that hillside in the service of the Mexican state. So far from our occupied homeland, we were heroes and victims of fate. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied, so we formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied, so we formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. Let's see. Oh, you're very welcome. And what else? Something. Oh, here's another request that I know. Jacob Blake was walking to his SUV. Alton Sterling was selling DVDs. Eric Garner had just broken up a fight. Breonna Taylor was asleep in the middle of the night. Tamir Rice was playing in the park. Eliza McLean was out walking after dark. Dominique Clayton was sleeping in her bed where she was shot by a cop in the back of her head. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Walter Scott was driving to a store. Betty Jones was answering her door. Philando Castile was driving home with his girlfriend. Anthony Hill was naked on the grass when he met his end. Edsel Ford was walking in his neighborhood. Michael Brown was blown away just standing where he stood. Kendra James was shot to death at a traffic stop by yet another unaccountable killer cop. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Atiana Jefferson was playing a video game with her little nephew. Gunned down just the same. Oscar Grant was celebrating the new year, handcuffed when the shots rang out that everyone could hear. Eric Reason pulled into a parking spot. Not long after that was when he was shot. George Floyd was just shopping in a store. Micah Xavier Johnson thought he was still at war. Say their names. 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 The elf one, somebody wants to know if I can do the elf one. I can do it in an elf one. I'll do an elf related song. And of course, if anybody's wondering who the elves are, you'll find out. I probably don't need the lyrics to this, do I? But I'm gonna just find it. Whether or not burning everything down is actually a good tactic in the short or long run, it's very cathartic. And this is a song about free speech and how it has been curtailed. Alternative tuning, say about, yeah, that's Dadgad. I'm often in Dadgad. If I'm not in standard, I'm in Dadgad about 99% of the time. This is a sing-along. If you know your part, it comes, well, if you don't know your part, then I'm not Pete Seeger. I'm not going to try to teach you your part while I'm singing the song, but I rely on other audience members to do that. I always hope that there's at least one person in the audience who knows this song, and there usually is when I'm singing in front of an audience that has come to one of my gigs, But in this case, I don't know, because you're all in different places, so. Rodney Coronado was arrested for a speech that he gave one evening by the San Diego beach. He stated his opinions, they sounded just like mine. Now they want to put him behind bars till 2029. Prosecutor said the problem was the speech showed intent. I couldn't figure out exactly what he meant. You can't describe an action, say you thought that it was swell. So what'll happen when we sing this? Who the heck can tell? But we don't like the condo and we're gonna burn it down. Corporate terrorists drive them out of town. We'll bring a lot of gasoline, pour it on the floor, light a match, say a prayer, and run right out the door. Burn it down. Burn it down. That's your part. I lied. I'm teaching you your part. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. We're going to burn it down. 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 That's your part. I didn't do it like in rhythm the way Pete would do, but it was my approximation anyway. Now if you just sang that chorus, then you just broke the law to be an eco-terrorist. Now you just gotta flap your jaw. And hey, who knows, by the time you have a chance to blink, whether you're a criminal might depend on what you think. But we don't like the bulldozer, we're gonna burn it down. Corporate terrorists drive them out of town. We'll bring a lot of gasoline, pour it on the floor, light a match, say a prayer, and run right out the door. Burn it down. Burn it down. We're going to burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Now they came for Rod, maybe next they'll come for you. And I'll tell you what I think all of us should do. Sing the song with me, raise your fist and caterwaul. If we fight together, they can't arrest us all. 'Cause we don't like the Walmart and we're gonna burn it down. Corporate terrorists drive them out of town. We'll bring a lot of gasoline, pour it on the floor, light a match, say a prayer, and run right out the door. Burn it down. Burn it down. We're going to burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. One more time in harmony. Burn it down. Burn it down. We're going to burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. And let's see. What was I gonna? That was making me think of some other burning thing. But let's see. So yeah, this is right now actually in a couple days, is the anniversary. Let's see. The 190th anniversary of the last armed uprising on the British mainland, which took place, not coincidentally, just before the formation of the trade union councils, which gave a lot of disaffected British workers other avenues to express their disaffection through, which are generally a little less, kind of all or nothing than armed uprisings tend to be. It was called the Merthyr Rising because it took place in and around the town of Merthyr Tydfil, which actually means martyr, I believe, in Welsh. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so yeah, Monday. If you're in Portland, if you're in the Portland area on Monday, in the real world on Monday at Kelly Butte at 1:00 p.m. on Pacific time on Monday, I'll be doing a show at the top of Kelly Butte. Everybody's welcome, open to the public. It's hosted by Portland Emergency Eviction Response. There will be songs for kids and a picnic and stuff. A picnic if you bring picnic material. Otherwise, it's just songs for kids and adults and through a sound system and stuff on Kelly Butte in Portland on Monday at 1 p.m. here, Oregon, if you're here or you know anybody who is. And otherwise, what was I going to say? Some other shockingly important announcement related to... Oh, I'm touring again. I put the upcoming gigs window back on my website, and I am now accepting, gigs again, and now that I'm vaccinated and, things are opening up at least in some places. Sorry about all the places where that's not happening. I don't know what the future holds, but it does not hold being able to continue to collect unemployment forever. So I imagine it holds, gigs. And so I will be, I'll be on the East Coast, in the Northeast and New York, Boston area for the last half of July, and doing at least one gig around New York then. And then I will be coming to England at the middle of October, and I'd love to do gigs around England, Scotland, Wales for a month or so, from mid-October till mid-November. And then at that point, I'm going to do a tour of the West Coast of the U.S. and maybe Canada, if we're allowed into Canada by then, from like mid-November on. So if you're in any of those places, I would love to hear from you. And once again, got a new album out as of a couple days ago called It's Been a Year on Bandcamp. And this is a song called Cheese and Bread, which was the slogan of the Merthyr Tydfil Uprising, along with Down with the King. 1831, the age of industry begun. For the working folk of Wales, life was short. With wages cut again, it was only sensible that then folks took over, shut down the debtors' court. The gentry pulled the wire, told their men to open fire and restore the rule of their estate. But as the night descended and the battle ended, the soldiers had all fled behind the gate. They chanted cheese and bread, and our children must be fed in the days when Wales rose against the crown. They chanted cheese and bread with a bloody loaf above their heads. When the red flag flew in Merthyr Town, the message went out east and west, put the gentry to the test. The cavalry was ambushed and turned back. After so long playing defense, the time had come now when the workers were the ones on the attack. They chanted cheese and bread, and our children must be fed in the days when Wales rose against the crown. They chanted cheese and bread with a bloody loaf above their heads when the red flag flew in Merthyr Town. sent soldiers by the score till order was restored. Then came Dick Penderyn's execution, another martyr for the cause, meant to give us pause the next time people call for revolution. They chanted cheese and bread, and our children must be fed in the days when Wales rose against the crown. They chanted cheese and bread with a bloody loaf above their heads when the red flag flew in Merthyr Town. And, yeah, so hope to see folks locally at Kelly Butte on Monday, and somewhere in the world on tour coming up somewhere, on this, somewhere in the Northeast in July, or England in October, or the West Coast in November. And thanks for joining this broadcast. What do I do now? Do something else. Oh, and we have requests. I can do that. I'll do that. Even though I do it a lot, I'll do that again. I was going through a vain period of not doing my most popular songs, and then I grew up and realized I was so lucky. Anybody likes any of my songs. This is one of many songs that was a collaboration between me and people related to the person I'm writing about. Katerina Jakob, long before she took that name, was organizing workers in Hamburg just the same. Organizing beneath a flag of deepest red, a new dawn of peace and freedom clearly shining in her head. Katerina Jakob first was sent to jail when the trappings of democracy all began to fail. She was frequently arrested, in and out of custody, while her first husband was in hiding from the Nazis. Katerina Jakob was acquitted of a crime, but the Gestapo had the last word. They weren't finished with her this time. She was sent to Ravensbrück, a killing hunger at her side. She heard of the execution, how her second husband died. For Katerina Jakob, the end was close at hand. She was on a death march with a ragged, starving band, marching through a forest, being led by the SS. What would happen hours later seemed impossible to guess. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. They all sang the Internationale. Katerina Jakob thought about her children and the friends and comrades taking care of them, not knowing yet if any of them survived, not knowing that soon she'd see her daughters both alive. Katerina Jakob watched the German soldiers fleeing, streaming from the east, that's what she was seeing. Allied bombers flew above them, she thought they all might die, and then soon there was the silence of all the SS men. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. They all sang the Internationale. Katerina Jakob saw red flags flapping in the breeze, above the Russian tanks, and she fell upon her knees. And so many different voices in so many different tongues sang the most beautiful song that could ever have been sung. In German, Lithuanian, in Polish, and in Dutch, a myriad of melodies as never had been such. In Russian and in Yiddish, Italian and French, emerging from the forest beneath the trench. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. They all sang the Internationale. Völker hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. Völker hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. And yeah, I will leave you with a song that I dedicate to my dear friend Aziz Chowdhury, and I'll be writing something soon on Counterpunch, probably my blog, both. He wrote a lot of great books before he died. The death toll keeps mounting. Each time I turn on my phone, another mass shooting, another free fire zone. The failed states of America, white supremacist rule, a society riven with victims and tools. The fires keep burning, completely out of control. Makes you miss the old days of the ozone hole. The snow is all melting, the lakes of Greenland. The best hope that I have, I hold in my hand. If there's a tomorrow, then when yesterday's through, you have me, and I have you. We might have to leave town, or maybe we'll fall beneath a hail of bullets at the shopping mall. Perhaps we'll be arrested, perhaps they'll pass us by. But wherever we might be, when we look up at the sky, if there's a tomorrow, then when yesterday's through, you have me, and I have you. They can call it natural, made by humankind. We'd like it to be different, but this is the place we find, the one we inherit, the one we're in now. Whatever might come of the future, why, when, how? If there's a tomorrow, then when yesterday's through, You have me, and I have you. If there's a tomorrow, then when yesterday's through, you have me, and I have you. I have you. Oh yeah, Kevin Neist, the Mavia Marmara song would be a very appropriate one to do, and I'd have to practice it. It's going to putting it out and putting out songs of the day every day again, and I got that one lined up. But yeah, I'll have to try that, do that in the recorded version. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody, and I have nothing profound to say to leave you with, other than hope to see you on Monday if you're in Portland, and hope to see you around the world if you're somewhere else when I'm touring, as the touring starts up again. And I can't say it's been a fun pandemic or anything because it's still ongoing, but I will just see you around. Don't die unless you really have to. Take care of yourselves. Remember, mutual aid will get us through. Trust your neighbors unless they work for the FBI. Bye for now.